Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here in Frankfurt, just returning from PDAC, which is the biggest mining investor show on the planet, which takes place every year in Toronto. And I have Luke Reinehr with me. He is the chairman and CEO of Kalamazoo Resources, an Australian exploration company with a lot of opportunities, and I would like to talk with him in more detail after we have had the first introduction in November last year, 2019, when he was at our booth in Munich at the Munich show called Edelmetallmesse. Luke, welcome to Frankfurt. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and actually we had a presentation here with a good audience of 30 people, investors. They like those kind of companies, and I would like to talk with you a little bit more about the recent news you have had. We have explained our investor community that you are an exploration company in gold, but why is that the Victorian region, the gold field, so excited for you? What is behind this unique situation? We have learned, and you have some certainly USPs on your end. We would like to get more information and dig into that. So please explain what is so excited in operating in your area.
Thanks, Wolfgang. Yeah, look, it's been a very busy 3 or 4 months for us. When we last spoke in November, we were just rolling out our first drilling program in Victoria at our Castlemaine gold project. And why that's of interest at the moment, of course, is because we're just to the south of Kirkland Lake's Fosterville gold project, which is considered to be the world's richest and most profitable underground gold mine. We've done a lot of work over the last 12 months to get ready to start drilling. We started drilling in November, announced our first results just before Christmas. First 5 holes, we're seeing gold in all of those holes, and we had a couple of really high-grade intercepts. One of those intercepts was about 1.48 metres, I think it was, at about 260 grams. That certainly got the market's attention, and a couple of weeks later we got contacted by Quinton Henney from Novo-Resources, who's the president and chairman there, and he and Eric-Sprott asked to make a strategic investment into Kalamazoo. We were very pleased for that because it validated a lot of our exploration strategy, and I guess our aim to become a significant explorer in that region. Our share price at that stage was around about 30 cents. They came and invested $4 million each at 40 cents, which was a good premium. Above market, yeah. Oh, well above market. And in addition, 1-for-1 optional warrant at 80 cents, but on 18 months. So that was, we think, a great validation for our approach. That occurred just probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Since then, we've then decided to go and perhaps tell our story a little bit more in places such as New York and Toronto, where we are also at PDAC, and here in Frankfurt, and share the story with a lot of your clients and customers as well. The reception has been terrific. We've been very pleased. Unfortunately, even though our share price, we got up to about just under 80 cents a couple of weeks ago or 10 days ago, but then coronavirus, of course, has had an impact on all the stocks. So, we're back down to, I think, under 50 cents now. But, we think it's a pretty good buying opportunity now for people who have been following our story.
That's even better for those that have not been involved or have not followed the company. It's always good if there is a setback. It was certainly with the volatility of the gold price. Talking about financing, so the company is well cashed up. Does that help for the whole 2020 exploration program?
Yeah, look, we're very fortunate now, Wolfgang. We've got about $9 million cash in the bank and about another $4 million of receivables for a project we'd sold about 12 months ago. So we've got about $13 million, and we've got quite a few options that are in the money now. It's probably about another $9 million. So we're well funded now for the next 2 years to actually really extend our exploration program. And for this financial year, or sorry, calendar year, 2020, we're expecting to drill probably somewhere between 10 to 14,000 metres of diamond drilling at our main projects, which we think will be a really interesting period for our shareholders.
I mean, we have learned that the Fosterville-Mine of Kirkland Lake is one of the richest and best mines in the world, with $300+ all-in sustainable cost. Is that a typical thing you look down the road as well? So you want to find high grade down deep?
Yeah, absolutely. Victoria, it's known for historically being one of the richest grade regions anywhere in the world. Current grade is in the order of 15 to 16 grams a tonne historically. interesting thing about Kirkland Lake is they're producing now at about well over 600,000 ounces, and I think the last quarter was at 49 grams a tonne. So very high grade. We're looking for a high grade deposit if we can find one, and that's a target of 1 million ounces plus at more than 10 grams a tonne. And that's our aim. We've got to do a lot of work to do that, and we appreciate it. But we've had some great results to start with. Had the validation of some of the most, the key people. Eric-Sprott, who started Kirkland Lake, or was the key driver. Quinton Henney, who president and chairman of Novo, who's also, a key instigator and involved in the early identification of Fosterville. So we've got some great people behind us, and we're hoping that we can do something special.
But just for our investors to make clear, you're an exploration company, and you don't think you will build a mine, right? If you find ounces in that region, I'm sure one of your neighbors or new companies coming into the place, new players, the big guys, they take you out, or?
Yeah, look, we never say never. Our aim is to get a return for our shareholders. The best way we can do that is to identify a big resource. Look, that's not our experience in developing mines, certainly not mines of that scale. But we'll do, as always, what's best for our shareholders. And so the key is, let's see if we can find a big resource, and that then opens up a number of options for us going down the track.
You have mentioned the other day that there is additional ground available you can actually claim and sign in for with the government, and this will open up a little bit a new scenario in the region. Could you please explain in more detail?
Yes, Wolfgang. What occurred at the end of last year, the Victorian government opened up a large portion of ground surrounding the Fosterville-Mine and also to the north. That's got a lot of attention, as you can imagine, from the major gold explorers and mining companies around the world. We're also very interested in that because some of those blocks are only 10 or 15 kilometres from our northern boundary. And we think the geology is very similar and would be a very good fit for our portfolio. However, we certainly acknowledge there's a lot of competition for that area. But one of the interesting things is that it's just not on the amount of money that's put into the ground. One of the key areas is ESG, environmental, social and governance. And those things relate to, for example, are you actually operating in the area? Do you have existing native title agreements, heritage agreements? Are you employing local people? Are you a local company? And we tick a lot of those boxes. And that's a big component of the validation criteria. So we think we're in with a chance. We know it's going to be tough, but certainly we've got some good supporters behind us now, and they're very keen for us to give it a really good shot.
Your project is actually only 1.5 hour drive out of Melbourne, and good jurisdiction, good infrastructure. But what about the area in particular? Is that a lot of forest, or is that a park? And can you get the permits and drilling? So explain a little bit.
Yeah, and the community is a very key focus for us. As you said, we're only an hour and a half from Melbourne. Fortunately, the infrastructure is great. We're on a freeway. We're on you can catch a train basically to our exploration areas. We've got some big towns nearby, such as Bendigo, which is supporting a lot of the gold fields in that area. Most of our ground, and we've got about 445 square kilometres in that area, most of that ground is covered by either Crown Land or National Park. Now we can explore there and we can mine, however we cannot mine in the top 100 metres. And it's going to be very difficult in Victoria in the future anyway to mine underground, and we understand that. And we're very respectful of the local community as well. So what we're looking to do is to actually see if we can find a high-grade underground gold mine. And to do that, there's a whole range of permitting we need to go through. And it's extensive, but we also think it's very important because the community component is right at the very forefront of what we're trying to do to make sure that we have everyone support us in the area. So permitting does take time. You need to allow 6 or 9 months for permitting, but we've got a pipeline of permitting and timing, which means that we can get a number of projects operational on an ongoing basis. So yeah, it's an environment we need to work in, but we're very comfortable that we can do so successfully.
So that's good to hear. But finally, what is gameplay now for 2020? You are exploring right now, so can we expect a lot of news flow? And what can you tell investors? Why should they invest in Kalamazoo Resources now?
Yeah. Well, we own 100% of our project areas. We're well funded. For the next couple of years, we've got an extensive drilling program in place. We're currently drilling as we speak. The next results will probably be out in maybe 3 weeks' time. We'll drill till the end of March, then redevelop our modelling and our 3D structural modelling for our next drilling program, which will happen a little bit later. But at the same time, we're doing a lot of the groundwork. We're doing soil sampling programs. We're going to roll out some 3D structural modelling, some IP programs. So these are all the things that you need to keep a pipeline of programs in front of you, and with drill programs then following. So we think it's going to be a very busy time. On top of that, as I mentioned, we've got that land release tender that will probably be announced in 2 or 3 months. Who knows, we might be successful in that. So we think it'll be a really interesting time for all our shareholders over the next 12 months.
And you own with your family more than 40%, right?
With my brother, Matt Reinehr. Matt and I started Kalamazoo about 10 years ago. So yeah, look, it's about 35%. Yeah. So, but look, yeah, we've been in it from the very start, and but we certainly acknowledge all our shareholders. Our interests are directly aligned with our shareholders' interests.
We like that. Thank you very much, Luke, for that explanation. And we have to outline, we are also shareholder of the company under the MiFID law. I have to express that as a conflict of interest or potential conflict of interest. And yeah, look for the website of the company and check out and do your due diligence. We think this is one of the most exciting exploration companies we have been involved. And yeah, thank you from Frankfurt. All the best.